Anti-slave question everything.
Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything.
Anti-slave question everything.
Question everything. Question everything. Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything.
Anti-slave question everything.
Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything. Anti-slave question everything. Welcome to Anti-slave question everything.
Okay, hello and welcome to another episode of Anti-Slave Question Everything. This is your host, Bo Diggles, as usual, and today I have a pretty crazy subject that I want to talk to you guys about. Please excuse any background noise that might be picked up in the recording of this episode. My apartment is hot as fuck right now, and I have to have fans on, so the background noise is pretty much unavoidable. The subject that I want to talk to you guys about is the possibility of martial law being instated in America, and about FEMA camps and just general stuff about FEMA. Before we get started with the discussion, I would like to say that if you were watching this on YouTube, I would appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, I would appreciate it if you followed and rated my show. If you have any type of story that you want to tell on my show, or anything that you want to say that might contribute to my show, you can email me at AntiSlaveQE@outlook.com. Now, one thing I want to mention is that this topic that I'm going to be going over today is something that gives me a lot of anxiety. And it is something that probably gives a lot of other people a lot of anxiety. And I want to make it clear that I'm not really trying to fearmonger or blackpill on this whole topic or this whole situation. I really just want to get information out to people. Now, I do believe that in the end, good is going to conquer evil. So with that belief, I am able to tell myself that there is nothing to fear. I'm on my own spiritual journey myself, and I'm not trying to spread fear to anybody else. I'm just trying to spread truth and make people aware. So with that being said, let's get on to the discussion at hand. Are we going to go into martial law? And what the fuck is up with FEMA, dude? So for some of us that don't know and may be asking, what exactly is FEMA? FEMA is the Federal Emergency Management Agency. FEMA is an agency of the United States Department of Homeland Security, and it was initially created under President Jimmy Carter by the Presidential Reorganization Plan number 3 of 1978. It was implemented by 2 executive orders on April 1st of 1979. So FEMA is basically what the Department of Homeland Security calls when there is like a natural disaster or some other crazy shit that happens. Any type of federal emergency that needs to be managed by an agency is what FEMA is for. So we have been dumping a shit ton of money into FEMA for a very, very, very long time. And there's been multiple times in which FEMA has been needed but has not pulled through at all. And I believe one of those times was Hurricane Katrina. So there was a lot of people that were in a state of emergency while that fucking hurricane was happening, people out on their roofs and shit. But it took FEMA days and days and days and days to actually ever even show up there. But when we have shit happening with COVID, FEMA's Johnny on the spot. Doesn't really make sense. And one thing that is especially not cool about FEMA is that recently they have been gearing up and making camps. Now, I'm not entirely too sure what these camps are for, but they are definitely making them. I have actually seen a FEMA camp in real life. It was back when COVID was first happening, and there was this giant open field that was like a baseball field, and it was behind these industrial buildings down this main road in Puyallup. Now, if you went to the back of these industrial buildings, you would get like back access to the ass end of this fucking baseball field, right? And anyways, they had gated this entire area off and shutted the back of it up. And there was a bunch of white vans and shit that were parked in the back of this industrial area, and these motherfuckers had thrown up these little gates and they had barbed wire on the top of them. And then all of a sudden a bunch of white tents and shit were popping up back there. But if you were driving down the main road, it was completely out of your general like vision. You wouldn't have seen it at all. I saw white vans that were pulling into the back of some place, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And me being who I am, I was like, I'm gonna follow that shit. And I went and I parked my shit and I fucking got out of my truck and I walked back there and I saw the shit and was like, what the fuck? Me and my buddy were back there bugging the fuck out, and we even got told that we had to leave by some personnel that was there because there was people that were parked outside of that shit, and there was people at this gate where they were watching in and out and shit. I'm not entirely too sure. I know at that point in time they were rounding up homeless people, and they were legitimately rounding up homeless people in the middle of the night. I had this confirmed by a police officer in Sumner. Pretty crazy fucking shit, dude. I saw the white vans driving around at night. When COVID first happened, I was still homeless. And a lot of the homies back that knew about this shit were fucking sketched the fuck out. Because they knew about these vans and they didn't know where these fucking people were taking them. I had one buddy that said that they were just putting them up inside of these camps for a little bit while the COVIDs was going down, and then later they put them up inside of hotels. And then the police officer told me that FEMA actually came in and bought a house in the town, and that they were having people that were COVID positive come and stay in the house until they were no longer COVID positive. And then one chick actually was staying inside of the house until she wasn't COVID positive anymore, but then was like, fuck that, y'all ain't kicking me out this house, it's mine now, bitch. So it kind of bit FEMA in the ass there. That's hilarious to me, but it's also a little bit scary. Now, I knew that FEMA was kind of going around giving handouts and letting people stay in certain places, and I was homeless myself too at the time, but I really did not want to have any involvement with those motherfuckers whatsoever, because I did see those camps going up and it did scare the shit out of me. And I do think that FEMA has some sinister shit behind them. Now, I found lots of different videos on the internet, some of them with this lady that's a retired person that used to work for FEMA. She said she's worked there for 20 years, and her name is Celeste Solom. Now, I have a few videos that I pulled off of TikTok that I wanted to share with you guys. That gives a little bit more in-depth view on what FEMA is and what these camps could be capable of doing. Now, some of this shit is like straight up Holocaust-style shit, guys, with like some real depopulation agenda involvement and some other crazy shit too. Now, the first video that I have has some footage from an interview with that lady that claims that she had worked for FEMA for 20 years. And it also has some footage involving an abandoned Walmart that they are turning into a FEMA camp. The video will be what follows. Enjoy it.
Agencies is they have this plan that if you do not believe that the government is God, then you would go to one of these processing centers briefly.
And when she's speaking of these processing centers, she's speaking about these re-education camps that they might try to be sending people out to.
If you could be re-educated, they would do that, although there isn't much need for humans. That, you know, the globalists really are free to admit that there's no room for humans anymore. It's our duty to expire so that to make the planet, to atone for our sins, basically, of what we've done to the planet. And so you will basically be killed.
And, one more time, what kind of liners are these?
Casket liners.
These are casket liners.
That's what the man said.
That's what the man told us. And we're told that there are about, well, there were about 500,000 out here.
And there are two different humane methods of killing, and one of those is gassing, and the other method is decapitation. And they've been doing all these experiments, decapitating thousands and thousands of mice, recording their brain waves, all of that, to justify decapitation as a humane method of euthanizing people.
Reporting from the Springdale Walmart, or the closed down Walmart in Ohio. I want people to notice I'm on the back side of the compound, and this wire runs a lot farther than just the old Walmart. It wraps all the way up around David's Bridal. That part, that peak right there coming up right in the center in the front of the building, that's David's Bridal. It wraps all the way down and around all this. As you can see, it goes over to the other building and all the way down.
I know, right? There's some dirty fucking sons of bitches. Evil shit, man. It really is. So they were going over shit like these Walmarts being shut down and basically turned into FEMA camps. And that's pretty crazy. Also some shit about fucking euthanizing people with gas and beheading them. Like I said, yo, that's some straight up Holocaust shit. And it's about to get a little bit worse because I have some even more unsettling information for y'all. So some people theorize that FEMA has already been kind of putting together a certain list, and every single one of us are on this list. We all know about how deep the Department of Homeland Security goes in fucking everything. NSA, everything. The rivers run deep, yo. The government's pretty fucking crazy, and they're watching every single thing that we do. It wouldn't be too far-fetched for me, in my own head, to think that there's probably a profile on every single one of us. Everything that we say, and everything that we type, and everything that we do is fucking recorded and scanned over, probably watched by some sort of AI somewhere. I know it's an unsettling thought, but it's a fucking truth. Anywho, the next thing that I want to get into specifically is the FEMA list. Red, blue, and yellow. These are the colors of the stickers that people across the United States have been finding on their mailboxes. But what are they for? The theory claims that the stickers are placed on your mailbox by FEMA, color coding you based on what the government knows about you and your race. So evidently each and every one of us is all on a list. There's a red list, blue list, yellow list, and a black list. Now I'm about to go over what each and every one of these lists are, but I need to warn you right now that some of this shit is unnerving as fuck. And pretty fucking racist. It's sketchy shit, guys. Like master race eugenicist type shit. Really sick stuff. So with that being said, here we go. So we have the red list. If you have a red sticker on your mailbox or a red mark on the curbing in front of your home, then FEMA has determined you to be an illegal alien or here on visa. This means when martial law takes over, you are going to be killed on the first night of the New World Order. These people are enemies of the New World Order. They are leaders of patriot groups, outspoken ministries, outspoken talk show hosts, community leaders, and even probably net leaders. These people will be dragged out of their homes at 4 a.m. and will be taken to FEMA detention centers and killed. This will take place approximately 2 weeks before martial law is enforced. Then we have the blue list. If you have a blue sticker, then FEMA has determined that you are Muslim, of Hispanic descent, African American, or an American that supports the rights of these people. You will be herded off to one of many FEMA camps that are allegedly being set up all over the United States. These are also enemies of the New World Order, but are followers of the red list folks. These people will be rounded up after martial law is in place and will be taken to the detention centers and re-educated. Various mind control techniques will be used on them. Most will not survive this. Mr. Springmeier was not specific on exactly who was on the blue list, but I would guess that people such as you and I are on that list. Then you have the yellow list. If you have a yellow sticker, then you have been verified as a United States citizen of European descent. The government knows you are a strong supporter of the government agenda or can be easily persuaded to comply. You will be allowed to remain in your home on house arrest. These are citizens who know nothing about the New World Order and don't want to know. They are considered to be no threat and will be instructed as to how to behave and will most likely do whatever they are told. Unfortunately, there are too many of these people to be effectively controlled, so many will be killed or starved. Then we have the blacklist. If anyone reading this is politically active and is outspoken champion or person of personal liberty, then it is probably safe to assume that you are already on some sort of list, at least a watch list. You might also be on a cyber blacklist targeting you for disinformation / discrediting campaigns or perhaps DDoS ping attack hacking. It is no coincidence that DDoS ping floods are more frequently directed at politically outspoken blogs and websites. The key question is, what is your priority on these lists? If someone is a high priority for travel restrictions or detention, then their passport would be immediately flagged and they might not have the opportunity to leave the country via conventional means, through normal passport controls. Government agencies are completely denying the validity of these stickers that are being found on mailboxes and curbings across the US. However, with Donald Trump's dangerous rhetoric and recent numbers that show him leading in the polls against Hillary Clinton, America cannot turn a blind eye on these markings. Human rights advocates suggest you take these warnings seriously and prepare for the worst, stocking up on bottled water, canned foods, protection for yourself and for your family. So this article was obviously before Trump even took office. Crazy shit. Now, these evil, conniving fucking plans that these power elites muster up, dude, are very long-run, big picture plans. So this next video that I have is a fucking long-ass video. It's like an 8-minute deep dive interview with that lady Celeste from earlier, but she's basically going to be breaking down the whole FEMA plan, everything. So like we've been seeing the food shortages and shit and all the stuff with the vaccinations, everything's all tied together. So buckle down, grab a beer, get a fucking bowl of weed or whatever, because this is gonna be a fucking long one. 8 minutes now. Enjoy it, eh?
To begin, could you give people just a little background of your history with FEMA, because you worked for FEMA, you know how they work. Tell us a little bit about yourself for our new listeners.
Started as a volunteer and I worked my way up the ladder.
And then did you eventually then work in a FEMA office and take on various roles, or what all did you end up doing in FEMA?
Much my specialty was planning. My shame was starting to put the information and the templates together that would later become the databases that we're all fighting right now.
And was it in this process then that you began to see some nefarious agenda behind FEMA, or what alerted you to things that you didn't expect to see?
Oh, actually, when I went to work for them, I was awake. My dad worked for naval warfare, and when I was 5 years old, he looked me in the eye and he said, "This is going to happen on your watch. You need to prepare." And so I've known and I've prepared since I was 5. And actually, when I was at FEMA, I was actually a source of Steve Quayle's, and I was getting him information of what was going on in the inside. So the real agenda, if people go to the World Economic Forum that's held in Davos, they can see this big graphic, and if you click on the COVID-19, there's like a spike. It looks like the spike coronavirus, and on each spike is a different disruption of all of society. So basically the plan was to bring the whole world to a standstill and then inject global governance under the cover of COVID-19. This plan the first time I discovered it in January was 200 layers deep. It is now 250 layers deep.
What you think those plans entail? I mean, is this a depopulation event, or are they just trying to centralize control but keep everybody alive and productive, or are they really trying to ultimately commit genocide?
So it's interesting that you asked that, because I'm taking a series of military classes, let's say, and I just did a special report today. So basically with the COVID, we saw the first round of disruption, and it will end with disabling probably 90% of the population. But the ultimate goal is depopulation.
When you say disability, you've mentioned that term twice so far. I'd like you to speak more about this disability, and it brings up the fact that we know now documented that this Wuhan coronavirus attacks neurology. And I know people personally who have lost their sense of smell permanently. Some people have lost their sense of hearing. Some people are suffering brain damage. So is part of the disability an actual kind of neurological lobotomy to where people can't even process anymore? They can't even think to resist? Is that part of it?
Yeah, so it is a biological, chemical neuroweapon. And I just filmed a breaking news story giving the evidence of that with clips from the people that head that up in their own words.
Is that something you're releasing as a video, or how could people see that?
Yes, it will be on my Patreon site. I'm going to make it public on YouTube, and I will also be putting the transcript so that people can have that and share with their friends and their family. I would assume it will be up sometime later today.
Give us a description of what this is going to look like as the food supply creators are everyday Americans. I mean, remember with the thousands of cars lining up for the food banks back in March and April? Are we going to have like massive refugees of millions of Americans streaming into the FEMA camps voluntarily to say, feed me and I'll agree to whatever? Is that what it's going to look like? I mean, you tell me. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth here.
So basically, there were several objectives after Hurricane Katrina. And one of those was a bill that was spawned after Hurricane Katrina to establish public reception centers at your local Walmart or whatever large facility. It could be Costco, whatever. And it was set up in case of a nuclear event, but it could be any disaster. It could be a pathogen. It could be an earthquake. It could be a hurricane. We're already conditioned to do that. Like it will be a brainstem reaction that when this happens, the next wave hits, that people will be starving. The food supply is going down. The UN just put out a report that they wanted to sell food by the 1/1000th of a calorie. And DARPA, which is the Black Op military sector, wants to sell food by the molecule. So after this next lockdown that we are expecting, I would say within probably 8 weeks, your food supply is going to evaporate, and they want to change your behavior. And they're right now, you've got a little bit of freedom. Get what food supplies you can, get what seeds you can, because what you have when you go into that lockdown is what you're going to be having unless you completely kowtow to the global agenda.
And how is it, my question to you though, Celeste, is how does FEMA run that whole idea of, hey, we're here to help you. If you want food, come on in and consent to this FEMA camp. How does that exchange actually work? How do they run that on the streets?
So you would go to the public reception center, then that's where you would be processed. It's going to be different than the concentration camps of World War II because we basically are in an automated technocracy. They've got synthetic beings, they have robotics. They really don't need a large population base. So one of the reasons that I left the agencies is they have this plan that if you do not believe that the government is God, then you would go to one of these processing centers briefly. If you could be re-educated, they would do that. Although there isn't much need for humans, the globalists really are free to admit that there's no room for humans anymore. It's our duty to expire so that to make the planet, to atone for our sins, basically, of what we've done to the planet. And so you will basically be killed. And there are 2 different humane methods of killing. And one of those is gassing, and the other method is decapitation. And they've been doing all these experiments, decapitating thousands and thousands of mice, recording their brain waves, all of that, to justify decapitation as a humane method of euthanizing people.
You're talking about guillotine.
Guillotine, yes. And if you think that there's no evidence, so back in between 2000 and 2005, I collected a lot of military documents, such as, because they were really studying the issue of guillotines and how to build a better guillotine, this type of thing. So I have those documents.
All right, like I said, that was a long one. And I know some of those clips were included in that TikTok that I shared before, but I really wanted you to see that interview in its entirety, because I think it's pretty important, and that's a pretty fucking crazy interview. So now that we know exactly what FEMA is and exactly what FEMA could be capable of, I want to get a little bit more into martial law. So we really only need to worry about FEMA camps if martial law is instated in America. And there have been a couple of events that had made me think that martial law is actually really coming. They like to test things in other places first before they do it here. So for instance, we've seen a lot of stuff happening in China, and we've seen a lot of stuff happening in Canada. Evidently, Canada just had a ban on all handguns, all sales of handguns, all transfers of handguns. And then there was that thing that happened recently with Canada losing the ability to do stuff with their banks and the ability to do stuff with their internet. I actually haven't heard from Matthew in a while, so that's like a little unnerving because I'm not sure of how things are going right now in Canada. I really have no idea. So yeah, things have been getting pretty crazy. There's been lots and lots and lots of funding to the Department of Homeland Security lately, and much more. Check out this next little snippet that I pulled that talks about just how much ammunition the Department of Homeland Security has purchased in the past 2 years.
The Department of Homeland Security buying ammunition, now looking to purchase another 21 million rounds of ammunition This in addition, of course, to the 1.6 billion rounds that Homeland Security has bought in just the past 10 months. Now, to put all of this in perspective, the military used approximately 70 million rounds each year of the Iraq War. 70 million rounds in a war.
If you look at what the Department of Homeland Security has been purchasing over the last year, it comes out to like 1.6 billion rounds of ammunition, more than 7,000 fully automatic assault weapons, 2,700 MRAP type vehicles, and now drones. Those are instruments of war. Department of Homeland Security's, who are they going to fight a war against?
So yeah, Homeland Security is gearing up for war. Not only that, but other sketchy information too. So we all remember the insurrection on January 6th, right? So after that happened, they started building a wall around the Capitol. Okay. And now evidently there's another wall being constructed up in DC and around a bunch of government buildings. There's a big 25-foot wall being constructed around shit. And for what? Well, the Democrats just passed a bill in the House of Representatives the other day that was to basically ban all assault-styled weapons. Now, why would they want to be doing that right now? Let's think. Maybe they don't want us fighting back against something. What would they not want us fighting back against? Martial law, the New World Order. Here's a quick video that I pulled off of TikTok with a guy explaining a little bit of what may be coming. Take a quick look at this.
What up, TikTok? It's your boy Killshot. So, listen to this. You've got to watch this video. They are putting up a 25-foot wall around Washington, D.C. and the Capitol right now at the same time that they have passed an assault weapons ban. Okay, they are coming for everything. Get ready, America, because this shit is about to get real. Nobody's talking about it. Watch these next videos I've attached. And if you don't know, now you know. Yay, yay!
Get ready. Have you heard the latest? Why is Hannity talking this old decrepit dinosaur, obviously out of the chrome? Look at how he looks. And not talking about this 25-foot wall around the Capitol? Anybody have any questions? Hello, why is there lightning? How fitting. Something's going down. Get ready. Have you heard the latest?
Everyone, we have an emergency happening here at the Capitol right now. As I speak, House Democrats are whipping votes to try and pass a ban on so-called assault rifles, when they're actually attempting to ban guns that are in common use by millions and millions of Americans. I need you to call your congressman, call your senator, and tell them exactly what I told Robert Francis O'Rourke. Hell no, you're not taking our guns. You will not disarm us. If your government doesn't trust you to own a gun, you sure as heck should not trust your government. Right now is the time to make your voices heard.
So there you have it. They're obviously going after our guns, or our assault-styled guns. I mean, they just took the extended magazines however long ago. They just did that. I mean, with Uvalde and everything that has been happening, not only Uvalde, there was another shooting right after that with another AR-15 assault-styled weapon. So they have a narrative that they're pushing really fucking hard right now. And everybody knows the guns were going to go eventually. Everybody knew it. We all knew that we're going to eventually see a fucking buyback program in which people were going to be asking for our weapons. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm not with that shit, dude. That's ridiculous. So that shit right there gives me a real big martial law fucking boner right there. That's like martial law coming, you know. The MLB says so. The martial law boner, not Major League Baseball. But anywho, another major thing that they're going to attack with the uprising of martial law is going to be our food. They're going to have to control the food entirely. They're either going to have to take it from the population or seriously decrease the amount that is readily available to said population. GP, us, not them. They're gonna have everything that they need. So I found this video on TikTok and I want to put it on here because it's a pretty good one. And it's an Amish guy talking about how the feds have been fucking really busting their balls trying to make it hard for them to do their Amish dude stuff and make their Amish dude food. Why do you gotta fuck with the Amish guys? They literally hurt nobody. They chill and do what Amish guys do. They don't even ever get to play Xbox, so I don't understand why we have to make their lives any harder than they already are. Why the fuck are we fucking with them? Nobody knows. What follows will be this Amish guy explaining in his own words how the feds are making his life harder.
Armed feds pay visit to Amish farmer faces hundreds of thousands in fines. Amos Miller, an Amish farmer who runs a holistically managed small farm, bird in hand, Pennsylvania, grows and prepares food in tune with nature, the way he believes God intended. This seems like a sound idea to the approximately 4,000 customers purchases Miller's meat, eggs, dairy products from his private members-only food club. Now, he had to start a members-only food club because there's some kind of regulation over there that's stopping him from just having the general public come to his store, okay? So he's doing the workaround, just like everybody does. The federal government, however, appears to disagree, right? A federal judge recently ordered Miller to cease and desist all meat sales. Our Organic Wellness reported U.S. Marshals were deployed to search Miller's property, and then they inventoried his stock to assure that he doesn't sell or slaughter any more animals. In other words, the Fed shut down Amos Miller's operation. Now, we had not such a hardcore thing happen a little while ago. It was probably 2 years or a little more to our Amish meat processing guy. The USDA came in and they tried to basically force him to comply with rules that they know he can't comply with. Okay, so they're into this refrigeration. He has a system set up where they bring in the box cars, the 18-wheeler box cars with the big freezers on them, right? So they have those backed into the property during the harvesting of the deer, right? We have a big deer season around here. And then he puts all the meat inside of there, and then everyone comes and picks it up, and then that's how he was handling his meat as well for people that brought in cows and sheep and that wanted any kind of butchering done, right? Well, they came in and raised a big stink about that. He had to build this whole new facility, redo his whole little thing. And so I'm just kind of letting you guys know, like, they're really after the food situation. They're really monitoring who's doing the food, why they're doing the food, where the food's coming from, because just like Henry Kissinger said, control the food, control the people. Miller claims he's being persecuted by the federal government for practicing his religious beliefs and religious freedoms to grow and prepare food according to his religious beliefs, right? Which all of us do. We actually plant because we know that the Father has given us all good things for our body, and the seed that he gives us is good for our body, okay? And we also plant according to signs. We plant according to the moon. We plant according to scripture, right? We have sabbaticals, all this kind of stuff, okay? And that's where I was getting in my last video. I was talking about how they're going to pin you down to make you conform to things you don't agree with because you're in the system, right? To believe your own thought, to believe what is true for you in your private heart is true for all men. That is genius. So wrote American philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson in his influential 1841 essay of self-reliance. Once upon a time, America respected the notion of self-reliance. It was the heart of the American mythos. Not anymore. Think about that, guys. That is so true. We're moving faster and faster into groupthink, right? The individual is slowly fading unless we can speak up, right? In March, George Lapsley, a court-appointed expert to receive unimpeded access to Miller's farm to inspect the facilities according to the Food Safety News. On March 11th, Lapsley reported that Mr. Miller did not fully cooperate and requested assistance from the U.S. Marshal Service, right? So some guy goes in there with a bad attitude. He's showing the slightest bit of resistance, and they come in full force. And why do they do that? They do that to intimidate you, okay? Federal Judge Edward G. Smith of Eastern District of Pennsylvania then ordered that the USMS was authorized to use whatever reasonable force was necessary to gain entry into the facilities to authorize and inspect. Furthermore, according to the Food Safety News, the court's order permitted Lapsley to make unannounced visits to Miller's farm, basically trespassing. Presumably, this meant anytime, day or night, never mind, God, Big Brother is here. Okay, that's an article floating around. It's the Western Journal, a couple of other commentaries in there from some other links. I'm a little bit slow on getting you some of the news, stuff that's really important. I'm going to get to you as fast as I can. This was kind of, I just want to make you aware of this, okay? They're clamping down on the food. I was also reading
So yeah, right there, they're really grasping a hold of the food supply, man. They really, really are. I see it in the Walmart that is right next to me where I live, and the Walmart down the way. I see it in the Winco down where my parents live. A lot of shit is not the way it used to be. Things aren't stocked the way that they used to be. Like, holy shit, dude. Open your eyes, America. The shit is happening right in front of us right now. New World Order shit, bro. As Alex Jones would say, skull and bones, ladies and gentlemen. Skull and bones. I want to take you to another video that I found on TikTok because it's fucking crazy. It goes into more about how the FEMA camps are being put up inside of these Walmarts. And yeah, martial law's coming, boys. Gear up. Let's go.
At 10, a Tulsa Walmart that's been closed for nearly 3 months now is apparently still open.
Walmart officials say it was to fix plumbing issues. Rumors, though, have run rampant since then that the store would be torn down or even used as part of a government operation. 2 Tulsa police officers are spilling secrets about what's really happening inside.
Man, they're gutting the whole thing. Midland Walmart. Completely gutted. Gate hell. Zoom in. Look at all this.
Okay, this is like 1 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning. We got military vehicles here at Walmart in Forney, Texas.
Called Jade Helm 15. While the military says it's just training soldiers for the realities of war, critics say the Army is preparing for modern-day martial law.
All these FEMA trucks. FEMA everywhere. Restrooms.
I've never seen surveillance like at Walmart before. So look what we have over here. Humvees, tanks. I'm really confused as to kind of what's, I mean, I guess I'm not confused because that's exactly what's going on. But it's all right behind Walmart.
Now, that video is relevant to me because of the fact that it shows those FEMA motorhomes and stuff. So when I saw the FEMA camp being set up here in Puyallup, those motorhomes were there, along with white cargo vans with the FEMA symbol on the side of them as well. So that shit's pretty crazy. Like, people are seeing this across America. It's not only just here where I saw it when I was still homeless. Now, I haven't been out on the streets seeing shit in like over a year now. I don't know what the fuck's going on out there. I have no idea what's going on out there. I haven't heard from a lot of the homeless homies in a long time. I have no fucking idea if they're okay. This shit is fucking crazy, yo. Now I have a few more news clippings that are speaking about the list and the colors that are appearing on people's mailboxes, whatever. I want to include those too because I think that the news clippings talking about them are important, because I could just read anything off the internet and anybody could be like, this guy's a fucking kook, but they're actually talking about this shit on the news. It's not just some random conspiracy theorist that types something up on the internet. There's talk about this shit. So I'm going to plug this in and I don't know, formulate your own opinion, whatever. This shit's sketchy, check it out.
This last week, the U.S. Congress passed a bill which repeals Posse Comitatus, which means that we have now institutionalized and codified martial law. Right now, the battle against terrorism involves all of us. Everybody in this country is a potential terrorist.
We don't even understand freedom anymore. We are a country that is headed towards socialism, totalitarianism, beyond your wildest imagination. I have to tell you, I'm doing a story tonight that I wanted to debunk These FEMA camps, I'm tired of hearing. You know about them? Sure. I'm tired of hearing. I wanted to debunk them. Well, we've now for several days done research on them. I can't debunk them.
I don't know anything about them.
It is our government. If you trust our government, it's fine. If you have any kind of fear that we might be headed towards a totalitarian state, look out, buckle up. There's something going on in our country that is ain't good.
And they find a little red dot or a little blue dot on their mailbox, and they wonder what the little red dot and blue dot is. Well, it's marking your mailbox by the government, so when foreign troops come in here on us after martial law, but if you have a blue dot, they take you to the FEMA camps being built by Halliburton right now to house 50 million Americans. They're building enough concentration camps in America by Halliburton. So I'm going to tell all of you, if you have not bought ammunition, if you have not bought guns, go get them now. Go get them now, because you won't be able to get them much longer.
So I've said it before, I'll say it again, guys. You know, gear up. Get your seeds, you know, get your fucking water, get your non-perishable foods, get your canned goods, get everything that you can. Get your plan together. What are you going to do when the blackout happens? Where are you going to go? How are you going to meet up with your family or your loved ones? You know, how are you going to backpack the shit out to where you need to go? Just get all of the shit in your head ready and mentally prepare for it, because it's a thing. It's going to happen here pretty soon. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, I believe that evil is going to lose no matter what. I think that evil already has lost. And I do believe that in the end, we're all going to be okay. I think that right now, with us being in this great awakening and this new world order type shit, it's clashing kind of together, you know, because the general population is waking up to what the government is doing. And they're also realizing that they're a lot more powerful than they think that they are. And I believe that the powers that be are slowly but surely starting to realize that the fucking reins of power that they did have are starting to slip. So that's why we're seeing shit being put into, you know, hyperdrive. Shit's getting expedited now because they're starting to realize, oh fuck, they're losing control. So we got to start getting the shit out a lot quicker. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say it because I don't want to get banned off YouTube, but we can say that it rhymes with Maxine Vandates, you know, those things. Real big sign of a new world order, or, you know, the coming collapse of what we know. You know, my body, my choice. You're not putting your shit inside of it. It is how it is. Shit is going to go the way that it is going to go, and there's nothing that we can do about it. I do believe that it's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. But, you know, I also believe that if we are going to have creation, we need to have destruction. I just want the destruction to be of our fucking tyrannical government instead of us, because we don't deserve it. All right, they've had their fucking run. Let's have ours. You know what I'm saying? That's my thoughts, man. That's my thoughts on the whole thing. They're never going to be able to take the true power that we hold within ourselves from us unless we comply and just allow them to take it. So now's our time to fight back, America. Just don't allow them to take it. You know, when they come knocking, don't open your door. And if you do it with a Mossberg Maverick 88. Just kidding. Do it with whatever. I don't know. And now with that being said, I would like to thank you all for tuning in to another fun-filled episode of Anti-Slave Question Everything. This is your host, Bo, signing out. Always remember to question everything, y'all. Have a great fucking day. I'm out. Peace.